We jotted down like 10 things we can't mention so that they were just in our heads.
That you can't, but then you know
Black book, yeah.
you know what it is, like if you say like what you can't do, then you start thinking about it, then it slips out, and you're like, we need to cut that.
Scarab is a brand of love.
It's literally actually
Thank you for having us on the podcast, Warren and Rourke. Oh no, shit, Rourke's not here.
Speaking of that,
Rourke is riding the white dragon on the way to
Rourke's been spending the past like 3 weeks in Botswana, like on the border of Mozambique, building fences in like a nature reserve, right? Which he paid to go do, right? And that's what I get the same response from everyone. They start like, why would he do that? Like, that's just ridiculous, right? So he pays to go on this thing with Land Rover to go build fences for the nature reserve.
Taking photos at the grading. Seriously.
Yeah, probably. It's actually, yeah. So he paid them to go build fences on the border, right? Went with Land Rover, got tick bite fever there, right? So he's at training on Thursday night. He's like, I don't feel well. I was like, just suck it up. He's like, tells me that. I was like, Rourke, that sounds like tick bite fever. He's like, no, I think I got a bug. Right? So he goes to the doctor. We went to like Versus on Saturday. Then he goes to the doctor yesterday. No, I've got tick bite fever. I was like, yeah, because Dr. Warren told you got tick bite fever and you paid to go and get this. And yeah, exactly.
When I got the Roni, I thought I had tick bite fever.
Mm.
Went through my list. I went staph.
That
second strain staph. Start looking around for something. Nothing there. And there was like, okay, tick bite fever. Can't have Roni.
Never.
Had that Roni.
Rourke as well. Remember that 8-man tournament with Jamie and Rourke and all of them? So Rourke blows his knee out in the round 1 and he's super bleak with his life. He comes to me on like 2 days later and he's got like this like pimply looking thing. So I was like, Rourke, you blew your knee out and you got staph. No, it's not staph. Ingrown hair. I'm like, Rourke, that looks like staph. So he like puts it off. Eventually we're in Knysna, right, on holiday. And he's like, it's just burning and it's hot. And it's like, I was like, you have to go to the doctor. Goes to the doctor, looks at it. No, definitely staph. I was like, dude, Dr. Warren told you that it was staph. But yeah, he never listens. But yeah. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We thought you'd get you on. You guys are doing some cool, new, exciting stuff in jiu-jitsu. Old stuff coming back for new stuff.
That's true.
So what's cracking? What's the news on your side?
I guess from Scarab's side, as you guys were the ones who sparked the fire. Listened to your podcast and you mentioned something about Scarab and how like there's not many jiu-jitsu brands out there, and how Scarab used to be one of the main players. And I heard it and I was like, I don't want to be a used to.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
I was like, I agree. I mean, no offense to any of the other guys out there, because I've got all respect for them to do it, but no one's really doing it like, as you guys mentioned, as like as a full-time thing.
Alan, sorry, dude, just keep that mic down in front of your mouth, please, because we really want to hear what you're saying. So.
Testing.
Yeah, much better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
know it's uncomfortable to have such a big thing so close to your mouth. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
So I guess it launched when Scarab started. It launched as a passion project. It was I don't think I was even training with Farley yet, and it was like, well, what are we gonna do? We're gonna get some good gear. And I remember there was like, I think Venzel Nell had a white gi with red. Something Star or something like that.
Oh yeah, they were those Red Star gis. I remember those.
Yeah. Like I was like, couldn't get hold of any, and then we had to get like an uki gi that was here, judo gi.
Oh, those were the worst, dude.
I was just like,
your mom sold me one of those, dude. I was like, and that was always the one I let people borrow, dude. I was like, use that.
That put me through school.
You just couldn't find any good gis, and then to import them, there was obviously not just the cost and the exchange rate, but it was the duties. Everyone gets hammered on duties. So everyone's like, oh, great, a show roll for $200 and arrives here at like 6,000 Rand.
Yeah.
Because of import duties and VAT and all that. So I started that years ago, as you know, and then I was like, wow, this is fun. I enjoy doing it. And at that time, I was working as a sales rep and I had the spare time, and jiu-jitsu was a mad passion of mine. And then I was like, well, let's do it as a little bit of a business. And then a couple of guys bought some gis from me, and I was like, oh, this is quite cool. And then launched Scarab, and it was with a year. It grew to be like probably, I'm not blowing my own horn, but the largest ski brand in South Africa at that time. I mean,
by far.
There's been other guys out there, and I mean, but at that time we were big. We had sponsored athletes like Francois Groenewald, Matthew Taylor from Cape Town, and everything was going quite well. And then my normal, and then I started running my own business, and then I had to now prioritize.
Yeah.
Versus passion project versus real life feasible paying rent and food.
Yeah.
And I just slowly started slacking and dying away, not bringing in the right amount of stock, and like just lacking in the service. And I think now I'm here to make up for that. I think that's the main goal. I really want to run it as a proper business and do it properly now.
That's awesome. I remember when you got like the first batch of those ripstop ones in, and you're like, try and break it. So I took it to the gym and I like hooked it into like one of those Smith machines, and you can do like those rows. I like packed every single bit of weight on it, and I was like trying to like break this gi top, and nothing, it didn't even like slightly break. I've still got that black.
I was gonna say we still got some of them as the academy gis.
Yeah, being used every day.
In my cupboards, that black and blue Scarab one that we try to break. It's like it's still mint. That's awesome. So like, what's the plan? Like bringing in stock. You got stock already. You're bringing in stock.
A little KGB, gonna keep a little bit to myself because obviously I want to have a bit of a wow factor when the stuff comes in. But yeah, we've got some samples to show you. We've got some gifts. But now if Rourke's here, do we just leave him out?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I literally bought something for Rourke thinking he's gonna be here, but if he wants to go and surf and see some fish,
I'm on that keto, bro. What are you talking about?
So yeah, I've got
I was sporting a fresh knee injury from jiu-jitsu on Thursday.
I saw you wondering what happened.
Gets home and how to defend heel hooks.
Who needs a meniscus?
Yeah, who needs it anyway?
We started this this new thing, so we don't have open mats anymore. We've canned open mats, and we have 2 competition classes a week. But it's like hectic. So it's like you get 3 guys, 1 refs, 2 compete. Then 1 stays in, 1 refs, 2 compete. But it's like brutal. Like Oaks the first night we did it, there was like a popped elbow, eye poke, like Oaks would get. So now Saturday is like the 3rd time we're doing it. So Al got a brutal grouping. You got him, Graham Edwards,
and one of the dudes from
and some athletic dude from Constrictor Jiu-Jitsu
who literally lifted all the weights. There's none left in Virgin Active. I think that dude lifted all of them.
Yes,
even he was uncomfortable. He's like, "Fuck these."
I'm trying to like coordinate the class because like I'm running the class. So I'm like trying to like make sure no one's. Al comes to me, he's like, "I'm done." I was like, well, "You're tired?" No, the knee's gone. I was like, "So you can't continue." I can't. Then he's hobbling for the rest of the weekend.
I couldn't even like stand on one leg. I was just like limping, standing still.
Like that, you got to.
Where is it? Inside, outside, or where?
Inside. Meniscus.
Inside.
It's gonzos, bro.
He's just had shoulder surgery.
Yeah, it's great.
Needs knee surgery. He's gonna be like a cyborg eventually.
I think I just need fish oil. That's what people keep
That's a
telling
lot
me.
of fish oil.
Yeah, dude, it's a backload.
That special fish oil.
Yeah. Maybe that's what happened. Actually.
So you guys ran like this ambassador search as well.
Yeah, it's been a good one recently. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's,
you know what I haven't been enjoying before you continue?
What's that?
Is fucking because I get tagged in that shit, and then every person that comments, I get a notification.
Sorry.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Good marketing.
You know what? I don't mind that stuff. It's the one person that tags 500 people.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, please stop that.
Yeah.
Please stop it immediately.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those people and you tagged 100 people,
Please tag BigAl again.
yeah.
Guys, the more people that tag BigAl, he might get sponsored. Guys, tag him.
He's also got a personal account. It's like what Bishy said.
Hey. Slow down now.
I think people are just trying to show love for their athletes and maybe
Maybe get
a little bit too much.
Yeah. But maybe get them like a cool sponsorship, you know? Like, and now I was complaining about it.
I'm not complaining about it.
Do you not want to give back to the community?
Exactly.
I'm just saying, you don't have to tag 500 people. Like, surely there's only one person you want to win. You don't want everyone to win. Like, only one person can win. So
If they vote that same person 47 times.
did you tell them it was a lucky draw and it goes into a hat? Right?
So does that count? Like if one person votes the same person 3 times?
No,
exactly.
But if they want to tag 47 times, that's just like we're not going to take it. We've just taken individuals who have on both platforms who've like voted for other individuals.
Yeah. 100%.
And yeah, it's looking good, man. It's really is really good traction. Lots of people commenting.
So when does it end? When do we find out who wins?
So we're probably looking at mid-month.
Okay.
We said that there was a cut-off time. So the lady that also helps me with this is Anine.
Okay.
Lombard. She's
the purple belt, blue belt.
Blue.
Who's
Yeah.
the purple belt? I saw a lady purple belt in your gym. Oh, okay.
Jen, yeah. No, so Anine's helping me with this. So when I said, when I made the post about the thing, we're now going to run it with infrastructure.
Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback off my current business. So warehousing, staff, IT systems, finance, everything.
Awesome.
So we're coming at it, when I say we're doing it properly, we're coming at it hard. So we're going to come at it properly and then, got a lot of manufacturing facilities that we're gonna also integrate.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna give too much away, but it's gonna be.
So are the gis being manufactured locally or internationally?
So they're gonna be manufactured in Pakistan.
Okay.
Straight up.
Where
There's no one better than Pakistan.
Yeah, yeah.
I've done China samples. I've done all over the world. I've even got some from Brazil. Pakistan is so much better. I mean, all your main guys are made in Pakistan.
Yeah, yeah.
Your mantos, your maybe not corals, but your shoya rolls. If it's not made in the States, it's made in Pakistan. They are simply the best. So we stick with what we know, and we're staying with the same supplier that we used to deal with, just because of the quality. We know that the quality back then was amazing. People still comment to the day, even on some of this. We still got your Scarab gi from 6 years, 7 years.
So you still got the exact same manufacturer as originally?
Exact same guys, everything like that. So the quality and the sizing won't change.
Awesome.
But the only thing will
That's
change.
always the thing is sizing, right? It's like you can be an A1 in one brand and an A2 in another brand, and that just irritates the life out of me.
We're putting together a really cool sizing chart, so a little bit more interactive than normal.
You got to spend like 3 weeks trying to shrink your gi down to the right size, and then it's you're nuts, and then you're like, oh, not too far.
Dude, when I get a new gi, I put it straight in the hot wash. I'll shrink it as much as I can, so then I know what I'm in for.
Similar to me though, because I'm in when the long sizes started.
Yeah.
A2 long. I'm somewhere between an A2 and A3.
Is
I
it?
get an A2 for a comp wise, but
You see, you like a little thicker than me. Like I'm like an A1 long or an A2.
okay.
Yeah,
You're saying he's on the
'cause
juice,
I'm
bro.
a bit scroll.
it's what did you say? Omegas.
Yeah, Omegas.
Fish oil,
Mexican Omegas, bro.
Oh man.
So we were doing the longs, and we're doing
nice.
H's as well now, which
Okay.
is like for your
You're huskier guys.
That's the one I
There
was
we
gonna
go.
say. I was gonna say like the boots, like as in the guys that are a little bit bigger.
Is it a slim fit?
Definitely, that's not a boot. Slim fit would be your L. That's essentially like an A1L is essentially an A2 slim fit.
Have you got
it
one that like tightens around the bicep for the?
You need to have big biceps. I was like,
See, those are gonna sell so well in 4 ways, dude. Yo.
You just go like old school, cut off the Street Fighter.
Oh man! I actually saw a gi the other day. It was a sambo gi, and have you seen? They've got like a little like lip thing on the shoulder
Yeah,
padding.
I know what you're talking
I was like,
about,
that is straight out of Street Fighter. That is like epic.
I wouldn't be arguing with any sambo guys though.
No, and the oak that was wearing it definitely not gonna argue with, dude. I was like, sweet, it's all good.
He's bringing up the sambo gi. There it is.
There we go. It's got a little bit of extra on the shoulders
Shoulder
there.
pads.
This dude didn't even bother with
If
the
you didn't
shorts.
know
eh?
better, man, and that didn't scream Dagestan and death.
That guy's gonna throw you on your
You'd be like, this is bullshit, man. This is like.
give up, my friend.
Oh, wow. We've ended up in Sambo Fusion's Twitter
Sambo
account.
fusion.
Thanks, Sambo. Yeah, these things are gnarly though. Eh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one just for shits and giggles.
I'm with you, dude.
Hey, just rock up an open mats.
I'm definitely.
In your shorts.
They're gonna be like, what's this knock doing here? Like,
Buddhaland, there we go.
Udo Land. Yes, I'll take your cookies, thank you.
I'm looking for a Sambo gi
Gangster. 77 euros.
sponsor.
Eh?
Sambo.
They're not giving them away, eh? I think
no,
it, eh?
they're
The
pricey.
laws of Sambo, you have to fight and kill someone to inherit their gi.
Yeah, you can't buy gi.
No.
It's got to be given to you.
Absorb the spirit.
That's
My
the
goodness.
most hardcore process.
Yes, but my boy's got some mean ass shorts.
I just love the rugby shorts.
my
though.
legs.
I just love the rugby
Or
shorts.
lack thereof.
Oh man.
Yeah, boy, my man. That dude's left leg's doing some funny stuff though. Eh? It's like making a U.
He's got a knee like yours.
Yeah, exactly. 2,853 rand. So if you guys can come in at like 30% less, I think it'll be a
What's
good
that
seller.
2.8 for half a gi?
Exactly. I don't even have long pants here.
Because of the import duty of 40%.
I want to know if it includes the diving stroke wrestling shoes. Then it's a deal.
And then you get only the colors of blue and red.
Yes, yeah, I got lumbered on the wrestling shoes importing those as well. Yeah, those 1,000 rand wrestling shoes became like 3,000 rand wrestling shoes eventually.
And then you still got to wrestle.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And I hate wrestling, so
Now the grind
just
really
punish,
starts.
just punishment. I'm punishing myself, spending money and having to do wrestling,
Can you pull guard in them?
Bit
Wrestling
stuck in
shoes.
your-
dude. But you know what the thing is, like when you wear wrestling shoes, then like you don't want to wrestle without them anymore because your feet are soft, like they don't survive like normal wrestling.
Wrestling though.
Yeah, no, well you got so much traction, dude.
It's not going to help my wrestling, I tell you that right now. Yes.
Oh man.
Have you got one of those Singlets.
Oh no, I don't. Don and Cam and
JP.
BK
And
and JP, they had
That's
singlets.
when we get serious.
But like mock singlets, you know, like what was Don's one? Don had like fire, like flames on it.
Yeah, it was gangster. He
Yeah.
actually,
like-
we did a podcast with him in that singlet.
In the singlet,
It was
yeah.
amazing.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it's just like just more than a Borat suit.
It's fractionally more
See
than a
if I can
Borat suit.
find that.
Fraction.
So mid month mid May you're gonna announce the ambassadors.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
then when are we gonna start seeing them available for order?
Yeah, so like we're gonna. I'm not doing pre-orders. Pre-orders burnt me in the beginning, and I think just because of the service, we're adamant about service. Now we lacked on that in the beginning, so like my thing of service, quality, price is now going to tweak to service.
Okay.
The quality is always going to be the same, and the price is going to be very affordable. But the service has to up ridiculously because I have to make up for what I've burnt in the past, just by obviously taking my business as a priority.
Yeah.
So I have to really like up the service, and that's what the plan is. So I don't want to do pre-orders because if you do pre-orders, then people are like, oh, you've got my 50 Rand, I need my gi now. And then and then if it's even a week
That's
delay,
so painful.
if it's a week delay, they're like, you said the 23rd and I paid you my 50 Rand. And I'm like, yeah, man, like as in I appreciate it, but SARS has held it. Like there's nothing I can do about that.
100%.
So then I'm like, oh, okay, no pre-orders. I'm bringing in stock and I'm holding high levels of stock.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have your standard gi, like a plain gi. Plain, but with like really nice little modern tweaks to it. It's like we've changed our catchphrase. And our catchphrase is Scarab, made with the love of 1,000 grannies.
Okay.
And like it's one of the things I came up with in like... Yeah,
So,
so I
pull
mean,
them
if you
out, pull
can,
them
yeah.
out.
So like made with the love of 1,000 grannies, and like Scarab, no grannies were harmed in the making of these kimonos.
Oh, those are very cool.
Only
like,
children's sweatshops.
That's very cool, dude.
So,
So is this also being made in Pakistan or is this
Nah,
being made
this is
locally?
China.
Okay.
if I can
Yes,
find
you-
someone locally, and this is maybe a shout out to anyone who can make locally, and I know there are people, if you can make the quality of these at the price,
At the price, that's a
Then-
problem. Is getting the price right.
price and the quality. So like, as in if you can get the price and quality of what I've currently got in my hand, I'll support local.
Yeah.
Please, I'm all for supporting local because I mean I manufacture locally, but there's only a limit of like the textile, the feeling, the thickness of the material, the actual printing.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to go to the ladies' gi, ladies' rash, yeah, sorry. The watercolors from a local designer. So I'm trying to get as many local designers, South African designers, to do this, and she's done an amazing job.
That's pretty cool.
It's a water like alcohol art water color, which I mean it's pretty funky. I quite like it.
I mean, like the thickness is actually awesome.
Thickness is lovely. So like when I've bought samples from Pakistan in my previous batches, and I've bought from China, and I still wear my one from China as we sit here. I still wear my Chinese ones, but the Pakistan ones fade. And then they hold that odor. Sometimes, like once you sweat it too many, like once you've left this thing in your bag.
That's just you, mate.
Yeah, maybe. Probably. Like if you leave it in your kit bag overnight in your hot car.
Yeah, you leave it in your kit bag, and 3 weeks
Everyone's
later you
done it
come
once.
back and it still smells.
I got this new rule. Like after training, I jump into the shower clothed, right? And I rinse all of it off, and then I take it off, and then I squeeze it out, and then because there's inevitably going to sit there for like 2 or 3 hours before you get home.
And
You
that's
know?
enough.
Oh,
That's enough
that's
for those
it.
bacteria
Pretty
to
much
come,
throw it
man.
away.
Lady ski there.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit Ron up.
Very
with
cool
this.
colours, eh?
Lady's gift.
Oh, thank you so
You
much,
wanna
gents.
Gift to you. So this is one of our new catchphrases. I don't know if the camera can see it, but Bear in a
Bear in a
Bolo.
bolo. Oh, that is amazing.
So it's a play on words. I mean, this is all designed from a designer that does design specifically for us. He's a South African living in Australia, and his stuff is so cool.
That is so cool. It's reminiscent of like the old scramble stuff. Yeah.
So it's play on the words, obviously, Bear in a Bolo, and now every time I hear the word Bear in Bolo, I go Bear in a Bolo. So like bear chilling in a bowl. So that's for you.
Oh, thank
Don't
you
know
so
if
much.
it's too big or too small. If it is,
doesn't
we'll swap it
matter.
out.
You're gonna have to
That's
wear
awesome,
that at
dude.
home, boy,
Yeah.
because
That's
you're
brilliant.
in a
Make it,
cult
I'll just
now,
eat
so
more
you-
cake if it's too big.
You're
Awesome,
in,
thanks.
Well,
gents.
you're in a cult now, so you can't wear that to your gym. So
Eh?
you're in a
what-
cult
what
now.
cream?
No, you can because now it's
No, I'm
all
only
black.
mixing
Now
with
it's all black.
Get a color scheme and
Yeah. All white gears, all black, no gear attire.
At least both of us make sense then, because our rash vest, our spats, and our shorts are black at the moment.
No, that's perfect.
Otherwise, you just gotta go.
I love the colors,
more
to be
open.
honest.
Yeah. Ladies is a white with a blue and a purple trim. So yeah.
It's super kiff.
Maybe if you give it to me.
Yeah, we'll do a swap over. I don't want to speak.
I'm looking for a sponsor from Scarab.
You've been sponsored for 5 years. So like, here's that water art. That
Does it have like a rashing material on the inside?
Yeah, so it is more of a winter gi than a summer gi, but I mean, it's the inside is this beautiful sublimated water art again. Something special for the ladies then.
I rolled in the middle of summer in that. Have you ever seen that Keenan Cornelius Hyperfly, the Stay Fly? It's got like a rash guard on the inside, and it was like the middle of December. And I was running. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, but that's actually awesome.
So playing with some ladies' colors, but not too feminine.
Yeah.
So.
And are you guys gonna also like offer maybe like certain gyms if they want to do like a gym gi? Will you do orders like that or?
Certainly. So one of the
because your guys' gym has all Scarab.
I've made quite a few gis for gyms, but I mean like ours all Scarab.
Yeah,
there's a co-branding sort of thing. I think. Yeah, let's put it this way. I've got nothing to hide. We've got a black gi that is black gi, black on black, very sleek, very modern, very stylish. Yet what we've done is we've got an embroidery machine arriving. It's actually pretty much set up. And we've got all the sewing machines.
Okay.
We've got silk screening. We've got all
awesome.
of the things that you now say to me, Alan, I want the Scarab standard, which is going to be the standard gi, but yet I want Warren King MMA on your back.
Yeah.
Rourke's name here or at here.
With a little heart with a little
heart.
cross
I
next
love
to-
Rourke on the top shoulder.
Say no to tick bite fever.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we'll embroider it on the gi that we were going to give you, but seeing as though you're not here. So you personalize, including your belt. We're going high-end belts. We're not going for these cheap, nasty belts. High-end belts, all embroidered if you want. So you pay a little bit extra, you get your name on it, your Instagram handle, and everything's going to be within 3 to 5 day delivery.
That's amazing.
Embroidered, customized, packed, and at your door.
And is it all going to be online? You just order online?
Only online.
Okay.
I don't want people phoning me and saying, "Hey, can I please EFT?"
EFT.
EFT's
allowed. It's strictly cash business.
Can I e-wallet you too? No.
It's going to be one of those.
Someone said that to me the other day. Can I e-wallet you? I was like,
What?
what? What? Yeah.
So just about customization.
Yeah.
Everything.
So is your current business like all online, or is it?
Nothing like that. We manufacture. So we manufacture furniture, very specialized furniture, hospital furniture for.
I was about to say, it wasn't like medical.
It was originally medical, and I broke away and did my own thing. Now we do furniture for mental health patients.
Okay.
So very specialized, but we do a lot of manufacturing in house. We've got a 2,000 square meter factory in Boksburg, and we do a lot of manufacturing.
Okay.
So printing on mattresses, sewing of mattresses. So now piggyback off that infrastructure, like I mentioned. So we can sew on patches, we can sew on gym logos, we can embroider patches and that stuff.
That's brilliant.
So that's the plan. Very personalized, very custom, but very quick service delivery.
Do you know what your price point's going to be yet or not?
Not telling
Okay.
you.
Not disclosing.
I know my opposition are probably listening, so I'm not telling
Who
you.
is your opposition locally?
No one right now. No, I'm joking. That's just me being full of myself. No, Fulcrum, definitely.
Fulcrum doing
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Fulcrum, lovely equipment, lovely people. I imagine, never met them, but...
I think I met them at that comp you competed in, Abu Dhabi, one day in the middle of Benoni.
Yeah,
Yeah.
been really nice now. Came a long way.
That shit. Benoni. I think her name's Robin, hey?
Yes, that's the
I
one.
think it's Robin.
Yeah.
You've dealt with her. She seems lovely. Don't
it
have a
is.
problem. And then Apocalypse, I think. Are they still around?
I don't know, man.
I don't think so.
They made a badass Miyagi-Do
Yeah, no.
t-shirt not so long ago.
Did they?
Yeah. I've got one, bro.
Oh, nice.
So they do Apocalypse. I think there's Pandemic. I mean, all of these.
But Pandemic's international, though, isn't it?
No, I think that's a
I
local
don't know,
brand.
man.
I think all of this is epitomizes last year. It's a pandemic and apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like buy a Scarab is not a pandemic. Oh wait, it is a pandemic.
Oh, it was in Egypt, right? Like the scarab. Yeah, it's on
Oh,
all the
yeah, Scarab
all the
is
hieroglyphics in the thing have scarabs on them. And
I don't think they classify as like COVID. Like I don't have a Scarab quarantine and vaccine. I think that's it really. And then people importing. Yeah,
I think people are very
Cam
like.
have one going
I
as
think
well.
Cam Livro, yeah, is that Cam's
Yeah,
brand?
I think Cam got burnt hard on import. I think they held these stock at
Okay.
customs for months and months and months. And it kind of hurt him a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think he sold out of all of those, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then
Was that
obviously
his
Don.
brand?
There's Don, obviously, with
Oh,
November
yeah,
12th.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah, November 12th, yeah.
Yeah.
November 12th?
No,
Yeah?
no, yeah.
November 12th, yeah. It's his
Yeah.
birthday. November
Isn't it
12th.
his girlfriend's birthday?
No, it's his birthday.
It's his
right?
birthday, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, his stuff is coming in. That's good. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Just more competition.
No, well, I think there's space for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
Scarcity mentality. And
Yeah.
I think whether it's in terms of guys offering good anything jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
we all in desperate need of it.
Yeah.
So I think it will push, whether it is in a brand capacity or more gyms or more stop this. Like,
No, 100%.
you know what I mean?
Support each other as well as
Yeah.
Which I think we all do.
A whole bunch of the Oaks were like they were going to go to your gym this weekend. I was desperate to go, but I ran like the whole of Saturday at FM. So
Yeah, you had
it's
the guys
difficult.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it was obviously Devet obviously makes effort a whole lot of time. Great guy, even better jiu-jitsu, and cool for Carl. I'd never rolled with him.
Yeah,
Super
Carl's
nice.
awesome.
And then God the Monster gave me a round of his life, or my life rather.
Who, Luke? Oh yeah.
Jeez, as long, he's tight, he's fantastic, man.
Good
And I've been
jiu-jitsu.
watching him for a long time, obviously. But to see what he's able to,
Yeah, Luke's
Brandon, you're
jiu-jitsu.
next on the mic shit list, dude.
mate, you
Because
said two.
because you're turning.
okay,
like
then
you're
I
turning
took
right
away.
past it.
My
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, Luke's a beast though, and Devet's a beast, and Carl's awesome as well.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Also, some of the
and Derek,
nicest
man,
guys
one
you'll
of,
ever meet.
Derek
Devet,
Dysel. Yeah. The purple belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sad I missed it.
Yeah, you, Mandla, we had a few of but luckily,
Mandla not there.
no, he
Oh,
had a wedding.
yeah.
But
Yeah, man.
some of the other brown belts all got, so we got stuck into each other, which is always nice. You get tired, not tired, man. I mean, we good jiu-jitsu and we all hard on each other, but when someone else does come along and you get to play a bit differently,
Yeah.
see what everyone else is up to, it's so good for your game.
Well, the thing is, like when you're rolling the same works all the time, like they get used to like
Yeah,
your little tricks.
Even me and David, man, like we're like when you're recording the next thing and we're creating these same patterns and stalemates a lot of the time, which is interesting because then you go back to the drawing board and see how he's working through and how I'm playing against it. But I'm like, our last couple of rolls are coming to the same kind of loggerheads.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so cool to have
They're
that.
like so obsessed with jiu-jitsu. It's crazy. It's like it's like you don't find that often where guys like have been in jiu-jitsu so long and they're still so obsessed with it, you know?
Most
Like every time he gets in on a Saturday, he's got like new stuff to show that he's figured out and he wants to show everyone. So,
I haven't met many people that love jiu-jitsu like he loves it.
oh yeah.
Like
it's
he
mad.
loves it.
Well, it's not just about the love, then he applies the discipline and I mean, you know, what's
Yeah.
required to put in that sort of work and be at that level.
He jumps in the
and
car from Polokwane, drives every
3 hours
Saturday, and then drives
each way.
back. I can't even drive sometimes from Benoni to Benoni. Like, because I'm too lazy. He drives from Polokwane.
our academy and a factory and our house, like,
Yeah.
I always say to Rourke, this weekend I'm going to go to Carl's open mats on Sunday. It's just in Pretoria. It's not that far.
Yeah.
Then like Sunday comes, I'm like, I'm definitely not
Sunday's
going
a
to.
hard one.
I'm definitely not going to
Sundays.
Pretoria on a
Sunday's
Sunday.
a hard
Yeah,
one
man.
for me.
Yeah.
I even mentioned I'd have to now take a Saturday and go make the effort because you have to have one day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the weeks just roll on. Just break the pattern and like no jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with you.
Have you guys found like post pandemic quite a surge in new clients?
I'm sorry if it hasn't gone anyway for anyone else, but our academy has never done better. In terms of,
I think there's a balance between the pandemic, people wanting to get back into shape, as well as our new gym.
Yeah.
So like the new gym, the new location, not necessarily the gym, the new location is just like, it's right off the highway. It's very visible. It's very open. It's very modern. It's very clean.
Yeah.
We've got the Dolomers. We've just landed a whole stack more of Dolomers.
So you guys are completely kitted Doloman now,
Yeah,
because you had like
pretty
a
much.
split at one stage, right?
Yeah, that was just like we had the old mat and then we just separated it between mat A and mat B. But now we've just extended the Dolomers throughout that whole gym.
Then we're going to do those old mats in the second section so you can have like simultaneous ladies classes or whatever.
Okay.
Just being one big area, close that off, and then maybe some other sort of studio B doing privates or something else. in there,
Okay.
which would be really nice.
So you guys are rolling a mat at the moment. You got mats coming out of the ears.
Yeah, how many squares we got? Do you know?
Oh, I couldn't. You'd know better. You're the mess man.
So yeah,
They've got an unaccounted amount of mat space.
we've
Still
got quite a
available.
few. Yeah,
Because it's been quite interesting to see. I actually bumped into Jamie Gemmell this morning grabbing a coffee, and the sentiment there is the same thing. Like post pandemic is just, it's been madness. Like they've had such a big influx. I think Cobrinha has been the same.
Yeah, it's been
All of the gyms that are I would say probably doing the right thing and really trying to like up their standard, really focusing on things like mats and color schemes and whatever, and like really good
coaching as well.
Good coaching for sure. Have really excelled. I'd love to do like a survey to figure out.
I think people are taking a long, hard look at their life in so many regards, and health is one big aspect.
Sure.
So, be it in a, picking up a hobby that's going to add value to you. People who were usually putting that money elsewhere, maybe traveling or this or that, you're confined to whatever your little world is now.
Yeah.
And, I think you can incorporate something that's going to change your life forever, like Jiu-Jitsu has for most of us. And I think people are seeing real value in that.
No,
if you get past blue belt.
Yeah. Or brown belt for us. We don't have blue belt titles, man. I give away brown belts and they disappear. So.
But they don't stop.
That seems crazy, right?
They don't stop jiu-jitsu. They move. They just leave us. Like Big Tian went to Australia, one of the toughest brown belts we've ever had.
I know Tian.
Big Tian disappeared to Oz. Little Tian, he's
So which one's Little Tian? Which one's
not
Tian?
so little. That was the
Which one's Tian Khaba?
That's
Little Tian.
Yeah,
Okay.
Big Tian is longer, and he's now
Longer.
Yeah, he's tall, man, and he's an Australian. If you're listening,
and James, one of the twins, will be moving down to Cape Town.
Okay.
So I'm just being a coach.
I think also for the guys that were doing jiu-jitsu, maybe at like blue belt and purple belt level, that like we're taking it for granted a little bit. Like when it gets taken away from you, and then you realize, oh shit, that was such a big piece of who I was.
Yeah.
And then like them coming back and pushing hard to be back in that community,
Definitely, man. Especially like blue or purple, but I know sure it's the same for you guys when something is so part and parcel for so much of your life and you just take it away. I struggled, man. Like
I was
not even
depressed.
like training and the positive of that, like just being around my people, man, and coaching and like not fun, man.
No, I can completely.
There's a whole other section, and I think it's not entirely unique to jiu-jitsu, but like there's a camaraderie to sports, and it's obviously jiu-jitsu is a lot more intimate, so there's something else there, and it's like you see all the memes like of people trying to explain to their friends who don't do jiu-jitsu, and it's like it is like that because you can't really go home and talk to fucking someone who doesn't do jiu-jitsu about it. You've got to like talk to the people in that community. So I think there was a lot of lack of that. I think a lot of people like sourced alternate ways of dealing with all of this shit, and I think that's kind of where the rebirth,
definitely,
or the influx of fresh meat. I mean, white belts.
Even from the Cobrinha side, it's been way better post-COVID than it was probably pre-COVID. It's mad. Like everyone's fighting for a little inch of mat, and we've got like a big facility. It's So I think jiu-jitsu is alive and well in South Africa.
Definitely think so.
I think what it did get rid of was a lot of like these little
Muhu gyms
on the side. Yeah.
I said I
it
was
on the list of things.
Muhu gyms.
We had a list.
Yeah.
It starts. You mess up one and then it starts all of a sudden controversy.
Yeah, it does. It's got rid of the fly-by nights.
Yeah, that's a technical term, eh? Muhu gym.
Muhu gym.
Yeah.
Put it right next to Dalit.
Yeah, you're right. It got rid of the fly-by nights, the Muhu gyms.
Yeah. But all the established like people in the sport or in jiu-jitsu are still there. No one's left.
Definitely.
So
a lot of people see like our mats or where we're at and we're flourishing, and they're like, by like some miracle, we haven't been chipping away at this.
Where
for
did you
9
train
years.
BJJ come from?
We're like,
overnight
we've
success.
been at this, guys.
A 9-year overnight success.
I can show you the scars.
I remember those Quantum Tribe days. Jeez, like it was like this, like up and down and up, and then like I used to like look at your mom and she'd like be on everyone's case, and then only when you open a gym you realize, oh
man,
shit.
People don't realize, man.
Yeah,
especially
like
that initial phase. At like what Quantum, and for those days, man, like there's the amount of people we had on the mats and whatever. Like
I still talk about those stories all the time. I'd be
people
like,
don't really like now.
I was
like it's harder.
When I was a white belt and you had that long black mat, and then like there was like 2 lines of white belts, and then there was like a whole line of blue belts, and that mat was fucking long, right?
Yeah.
And then like you had purple belts and brown belts, and it was like that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago. Like you're lining up like that.
You can trace back any higher belt in Joburg, if not some in Cape Town. I mean, like Saul's now in Cape Town. If you go back through lineage, and I know everyone's on your lineages and heritage and all that, you go back, you're gonna come across someone in Quantum. You were taught at Quantum at one stage.
The majority.
Yeah.
Like,
put their foot in there at some point.
yeah.
I think like what hasn't also been spoken about for that era, and I fall into that weird category, is young grapplers, like actually young BJJ practitioners.
Yeah.
So, you know, whether it was like Dino Bertolis, myself, Jess, Brendan, Rourke, there were young people who were in a gi
100%.
trying to be like...
I think Rourke was like 11 years old in that gym, right? Like, Jess and Graham are with us here at Cobrinha, and like, people don't realize I've been rolling with these guys for 10 years.
Yeah,
like it's been like
that, man.
from way back then. And like a lot of the gym split off from Quantum. You know,
Yes,
it was like
and then the
guerrilla
different-
warfare and all of that. Like
Grappler's
and
Lab with Brett. Yeah,
yeah,
it was crazy
So-
to see. But like now we talk like I feel old in jiu-jitsu and I'm like 30.
Dude, I
but
feel
like,
very
and then
old.
I got the people who talk to me like, I remember when you were a kid.
yeah.
It's crazy.
And
man.
you talk like the new up and comers, Stain, Luke Griffiths,
it's
Peyton.
evolved to a point.
It's mental, dude.
There's Jordan Leclerc. I know he's been voted, but he's phenomenal, man. There's a guy there who we were talking about on the way here.
The twins or
The twins are awesome, and then
The twins.
in Cape Town.
Cape Town. I just got back from training with Henzo. I've been there for
You're
10
older.
days.
The Abrams.
No, there was another one. I wish I remember his name, man. He was so good. He's essentially helping running the place and coach the place.
Oh, Jeff.
Well, you look at someone like Zach Badat, right?
Yeah.
He's like in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
He's a black belt in
He's
jiu-jitsu.
old school now because he's been around for such
He's
a long
been
time.
grappling for like 18 years,
Didn't you
right?
roll him at the Hanami?
Yeah.
Going back now.
It's good, man.
And even his brother Shaq, like also like super young,
Yeah.
high level jiu-jitsu. It's a different world from like what 10 years ago was
It's
like.
completely different.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And like I still remember like this week actually someone asked me like, why don't you compete anymore? I was like, well, I've been competing for like 10, 11 years. I don't want to compete anymore, right? I'd rather just coach and like add where I can. But like remember back then, like feeler tournaments, those were brutal, dude.
Yes,
Like,
man, I used to run off, like taking my gi off so I could
Run
get
to
onto
no
other
gi.
mats.
Exactly.
Because you're being called
Straight
on
to
both
gi.
fronts. I got-
dude, people don't understand that, right?
No.
They're like,
It
oh, I
points
got,
for a
I got,
reversal.
I got,
reverse them. There's points. You're like,
they were like, oh, I got 3 matches today. I was like, I remember that one All-Star Grappling League at Quantum. I had 11 matches that day because I did the no-gi, then I did the gi, then I did the absolute,
absolute,
right?
yeah.
And then the absolute was no time limit.
I
So like,
remember those.
my first match was like 13 minutes, dude. I was like,
I
the
still
jokes have a
remember
good at the
Gavin
moment.
Brett's rolling.
The black belt.
No, mate. Not even then. It was CIT boy, probably
Drinkers.
middleweight. No. Older curly hair.
Michiel.
Michiel. Oh, Jesus.
And I think he rolled him for 45 minutes, and I think Gav eventually, you remember Gav was like at
Remember Adam versus Johan van Staden?
Yes.
It was over an hour, dude. We're just sitting there like waiting, like
I know.
eventually just like come
someone
guys.
please win.
Just please
I remember that match actually.
Oh man, those were great times.
Yeah.
My first match ever was at one of those tournaments, and it was Saul. I was like a white belt, and Saul was a purple belt. So I was like, okay, let me get into the jiu-jitsu
You
thing.
rolled who you could, man.
my
They were-
first ever competition, I was a white belt. I'd done it in like some backyard jiu-jitsu gym. There was a traditional coach. I was literally training for like 6-7 weeks. I was like, I'm going to compete at Quantum Tribe. I ended up getting Adam Speechley.
Oh yeah,
Oh my gosh, I hadn't even got a belt, and I had to roll Adam Speechley.
yeah, dude.
Yes, he was a machine. He was so good though, man. Such a nice person as well.
Those were epic times though. Like I look back on those years very fondly. Like they were good. They were like the formative years of like current jiu-jitsu.
Definitely,
you know?
man. Definitely.
And like to have a gym that size at that stage was epic,
Remarkable.
right? Now you got a couple of gyms that are like that size or bigger, but like he was like Nate and your mom and yourself did it in like a time when that didn't exist, you know.
Yeah.
They were great times, but yeah.
Do you think if you took you as a blue belt when we were blue belts, we've discussed this, you put me as I'm still maybe the generation a little bit below you guys, but if you put him as a blue belt and you put up us against the current blue belts, they would smoke us.
Yeah.
They would smoke us.
I think
entirely.
I've spoken about this a couple of times. Like as the generations get on, like the levels get higher. Like the blue belts of today, like the competitive blue belts of today would have smoked the black belts of yesteryear,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Robert Drysdale was saying it the other day. He was saying that, you know, like a competitive blue belt would beat most black belts because they are so good at what they do in a competitive environment. It's just they don't have that full spectrum of knowledge
the
of
game,
jiu-jitsu, right? So I look at that Hoist Gracie that won like UFC 1 and UFC 2, and you put him against the current blue belt era. Like that oak would have got murdered. And like I think that just comes part of like a young martial art, you know, like every year things are evolving and developing, and like people shouldn't be embarrassed of it, you know. Often like guys will say, oh yeah, but that guy's a black belt and this brown belt tapped him out, and it's like, yeah, but that's not what it's all about, right? No, it's not about that brown belt shouldn't be as good as the black belt. Like
there's belts within the belts, and then there's levels to the shit. Like even traveling overseas, some of the like sit and roll with other black belts, and then there'd be that purple belt or that blue belt. That's I mean, hey,
we discuss this all the time. Isn't like sometimes when we're sitting at grading, we're discussing what we're thinking. Like, has someone put in the time? So like you put now a brown belt against a blue belt, and that blue belt gives that brown belt a hard time.
Yeah.
Does that mean that blue belt deserves a brown belt? No, because this guy's been on the mat for 10 years. He's put his time in. He's got his injuries. He's got a family. He's a successful businessman, and he does that because he loves it. Yeah. Does that mean he should never get his black belt?
And that brown belt's knowledge probably way surpasses that blue belt's knowledge, right? And his ability to transfer that knowledge probably way surpasses that blue belt. So I agree with you. You know, like when we were in California last year, right? We went to a lot of gyms. Like we try to roll everywhere, and without like trying to sound like braggadocious, but I tapped a lot of black belts. And then like I got to some gyms where I did like well against the black belts and then well against the brown belts, and then I'd catch a blue belt that's like
just now
smokes me, right? Like just like gets on top of me and just ragdolls me, and I'm like, and then like you get away, then you think, how did that happen? You know, like I did so well against all the high belts, and then this blue belt came and just murdered me, right? But it's not about that. Like it's about the whole journey. It's about all your knowledge. It's about your dedication to it. And
it's a complex equation, man. And you can't now such and such does this and therefore this is that. And you know, people try to do that. Like this belt, so therefore when I beat that, like stylistic, it's so more complex. You know,
it's very complex.
There's still belts and there's still standards. Don't get me fucking wrong. Like you got to be working at a certain level.
Yeah.
And then within each system, man. Like I don't begrudge any system or how they do things.
Yeah.
I entrust the way I do things, and I believe we've produced good athletes and whatever. But like, if it's another thing, and bro, like part of your thing is also dodging ninja stars, and you still for real, man, like cool on you. If it's not me and it's not my belt, I honestly don't care about it.
But I mean, I think you're touching on something that's very important in like the jiu-jitsu community, is that I feel like yesteryear's people, like the original guys from like 10 years ago, they were so worried about what everyone else was doing, right? And they weren't so worried enough about what they were doing, right? If you get a black belt from some dude and I don't know you and I don't know that dude, then I don't really care about it, right? And like sometimes I get inboxes, did you see this guy got a belt? And I'd be like, I didn't see that, but it doesn't really matter, right? He's not my student, and that's not my coach. Like doesn't matter to me if these guys are getting these belts.
My students try, you know, and they even like try bring me into the conversation. Like, is he one of your training partners?
Yeah.
Is he I don't care. Like, and I'm not being like, if they're doing jiu-jitsu and that's them, that's their stuff, man. Like,
I think the only time that like the community should get together and be hard on these people is when certain clubs are doing like a disservice to jiu-jitsu, like that combat jiu-jitsu guy that with the rope belt, saying that it was like jiu-jitsu. I think like that's when the community needs to come together and be like, that isn't jiu-jitsu. That's not jiu-jitsu, and don't claim it's jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. But like outside of that, I think everyone just must stick to their own thing. Focus, and like,
and you'll know who. Like you say, whether we get together, not to weed out the pretenders, but like, you know, which the good academies, the good academies, you know, they're going to produce the athletes and it's going to be ongoing. They're going to compete. They're going to always put themselves out there. They're going to travel and train to different academies. They're going to, and as long as you just all do you know, everyone was like, we've just been quiet in the East End, just chipping away, man. Like, everyone like now, like, oh, we like starting an academy and you can testify to this is so difficult.
Yeah, dude.
It's difficult when you just put 15 people on the mat that don't know nothing, right? Yeah. There's got to be a follow-on, and then back to the stuff we were discussing in terms of the evolution, because you just need one extra blue belt, you know what I mean? That's why I started the academy initially, and so thankful that Alan became a partner as well as Kola, and were able to give me the skills I didn't necessarily have.
But his 10-year journey to purple belt finally happened.
Do you know, that was the funniest. No one like sees the awards and they're like, well deserved or whatever. So many people for X-Man's belt were like, because they've seen him like drop off, get back in, drop off.
He was doing jiu-jitsu before I was doing jiu-jitsu.
Exactly that, man.
I was like
one of my best friends, and I would not grade him until he reached a certain
fairness, dude. It's fair. Like, you're not gonna commit to it.
It doesn't say he's got a purple belt. He says he's black lavender. So that's hashtag.
Oh man, that's brilliant. Oh yeah,
I miss this dude actually, and he's red belt.
You guys were all ragging on about this guy.
See, this dude's got a red purple belt, bro. What's the problem?
I think didn't they shut down?
I don't even know. I followed the initial thing in with you guys.
Yeah.
and
No,
then
they,
it
I think
required-
they, I think they
checked the
eventually
Skinner.
shut down.
I think Mac Dojo Life fucking was a nail.
Oh yeah,
stuck
they hit
into
them
them.
hard.
So like, you know, the big thing was the guy in the middle with the black rash on,
Oh,
right?
Mike. Isn't it Mike?
No, it's Mike's the white shirt guy, right?
Yeah.
It all started with that guy posting a certificate from Hickson Gracie being a certified Hickson Gracie black belt, right? And that kind of like triggered it. But like I showed Rourke, and then Rourke like laughed it off, and then he showed Don, and then like Don's got like a way different
Don is-
personality.
yeah.
He got like that like lit a fire in his belly, and
we
then
actually,
he was like,
we didn't we find that on the show and we went to go investigate like if it's a real thing.
yeah.
went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. We were
Eventually,
like,
they retracted that certificate. Like that association withdrew it.
I might be speaking out of line now, and then I could have but one of their students, I can't remember his name, but he at the ADCC.
Michael Block, yeah.
Is that the one? Man, so like
He-
he's
he
still
can
caliber
roll.
of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
he can more
Michael
than roll.
Block didn't
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
He beat the vet in the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
fight.
yeah.
So beat
like,
the vet. You got to
there's still something-
Yeah, the vet's fucking great, dude.
Amazing.
again, like I don't agree certain things that aren't following certain protocols, but there's obviously still some.
but hang
semblance
on,
of
dude,
jiu-jitsu
because that
happening there, man. Like,
guy,
But-
there's a catch there though, because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the guy you're talking about was one of the guys who blew the lid on that and he actually had left that gym.
okay.
I'm
Again, like, I
also
don't know.
again,
I
I'm
thought
just
it was
being
Rio
mistaken.
grappling
Yeah,
or something like that. The guy Michael Block.
yeah, I think
no,
he
did
was
left to
there.
Rio grappling,
Oh,
and then
he
he
left,
went
yeah.
from black belt or brown belt down to blue belt. They,
Okay.
Yeah.
they
Oh,
changed
so
his
he'd
grade.
done his time.
So,
and stuff
so like,
that.
I've also seen this, and I saw it this weekend at Versus. Right, there's some guys that can come from bad gyms that are so dedicated to the sport, and they're pushing so hard on the side, right, that they can still become good fighters. Right, there were guys who's, I mean, we won't mention the names of the gym, but the coach was definitely not of a level that would produce a person that could grapple in that
At
way.
that level,
You
yeah.
know,
Hit him.
yeah, like the cornerman saying, this was the exact words. Fuck him up. That was his cornering advice, right?
Sound advice,
right?
'cause I mean-
and then said, just put your hand out and you know, just do this. And then
fucking
this
hit
oak's
him.
like grappling the shit out of this oak, and I was like,
It's not.
that isn't his coach. That isn't his coach, because this oak's actually a pretty good grappler, and he's like striking wasn't bad, and like that is definitely not.
But
the
I
guy
mean,
coaching him.
once you've got the technique down, what you really need is someone to say "fuck him up." You don't need much else. You just need to be reminded of what you're supposed to be
Oh
doing.
man,
But didn't we go
like
through
that
some
fight.
sort of controversy? Like I know we pointing out rope people, but didn't we go through like a period? I mean, when I mean we, as in you and I,
about.
Robert Drysdale and
Oh, yeah.
Fowler.
So I'm happy to explain that, right?
Please, because I
s-
didn't even know about
I
it.
spoke to
This
his
wasn't
wife.
even on our controversial list.
No, this is genuine. Like I wish it was.
So when Fali was here,
Yeah.
right, he had the Drysdale Jiu-Jitsu
Yeah.
thing, right? And that's how Abmar came here, actually.
remember going to
because
the seminar,
Abmar
yeah.
represented Drysdale Jiu-Jitsu,
Yeah.
right? So the agreement was, right, that Fali's students could represent Drysdale Jiu-Jitsu at IBWJF competition,
Okay.
but he wasn't
An affiliate.
a Drysdale Jiu-Jitsu affiliate gym.
'Cause we weren't
right?
paying
Because you weren't paying the
Right.
affiliate. But then when I spoke to, her name was Sophia Drysdale at that stage, and now it's McDermott or something, she said to me, she did have a lot of complaints from him, and then she wanted me to explain what the situation was, and I explained the situation, and she was like, okay, he did have authority to use the logo when you register for tournaments, but he was never meant to be an affiliate gym,
Okay.
right?
It's squirrely, like.
It is a
Yeah.
little bit like I
It's
never
like
But I get
very-
what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
I never
But I mean,
really-
like, it didn't come from you and me. Like, we were just students in this.
I was just told to wear
environment.
a patch. I
Yeah.
didn't even know anything. Like, hey, wear the patch. I was like, who's Robert Drysdale? Now I'm like, now I'm like, Robert Drysdale. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So-
But I mean, like, Robert organized Abmar to come here. So there was like a relationship
Definitely,
to a
yeah.
point.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still oblivious to that whole thing. I just carried on with it.
Well, you know, Abmar came here. So,
No idea.
So Fali
an
spoke to
aeroplane.
them. Fali spoke to them and was like, listen, we want someone to come out. Because that was when we had World of Warriors and we had a bit of money and whatever. And then, like, they told us prices and we were like, that's a bit hectic to bring
Did you
someone.
not do the big five?
Come see the animals and you can teach jiu-jitsu.
So then, like, Abmar was like, well, I really want to come to South Africa. I'll pay for myself to come.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, sweet. We pitch up to the airport. Abmar comes through and he's like, oh, here's my mate Shah. jumped on the airplane with me. He's also a black belt. And we're like,
I remember.
okay, sweet. He's like, where can we stay? We're like, we want this house. You can stay in this room. Like, yeah, hundreds. He was like the most chill Brazilian I've ever met in my entire life. You know, like, I was with Kaitera for a while, and then they were like, first class airplane ticket, 4-star hotel minimum, a daily per diem, keep all the money from the seminar, and I'm only coming out for 5 days.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this 5-day excursion is going to cost me $100K. I can't exactly afford that. He's like, okay, I'll send one of my other guys, and then it's a normal ticket, still 4-star accommodation, still like, I was like,
I guess it's those big affiliations that they get so many offers around the world that like they can not milk it, but they see their value and they're like, this is what I want.
Yeah, but they don't extrapolate that to
a rand.
A South African.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I've had like Victor Estima, when I spoke to Victor Estima, I was like, do you want to come out to South Africa? He's like, sweet. Just pay for my ticket and that's it.
Yeah.
And
any other guys for the first trip?
Mateus Deniz as well, when I was there in New York, he was like, he'd love to come to South Africa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like some of them are just like so cool and so relaxed and they just want to see South Africa as a place.
Well, that's because you're speaking to like players, right? Jiu-jitsu players. It's like my biggest problem with affiliations is that it's a lot of money for very little. I mean, I'm not talking about maybe your guys' affiliation, but like in general, like an affiliation with a Brazilian becomes difficult because it's a lot of money for very little assistance. Like when I was trying to do the Kaitera thing, like I needed a lot of assistance, right? I got an Excel spreadsheet with a couple of techniques named on it for like $250 a month plus all the other bits and pieces. So like that was always my issue, is like we need people that are going to help us build jiu-jitsu, not just tell us what to teach, you know? And yeah,
it's hard, and I think it's probably been good for South African jiu-jitsu, and it's not to say that different associations, affiliations haven't, it's not just about planting those seeds, right? A lot of us have taken the onus and responsibility. Yeah. You know, at some point, not to be ugly, I've wanted guidance and I've got it through my professor intermittently, but at the end of the day, he's in America, man. Yeah. You know, we've been forced to travel. We've been forced to work in between our different academies and whatever. Because I think a lot of the time, and I've spoken to other people who are opening up academies or whatever, you know, it's so much easier just to put up your arm and go like, how do I do this? Why do I do this? Like, once you've traveled, like try emulate what's going on there, you know? Because even just to travel and train, you mean your American trip, go. But the financial aspect, if you're just a gym owner and now you're like, okay, I'm going to go to the UK or I'm going to Thailand or whatever, go see in a monetary sense versus your students what you're going to pay for a week's training, for instance. You know, and they don't care about the poor African story or whatever. So unless you've got really good backing or stuff, a lot of the time you just got to try and make it happen, man. It's hard, but
at least now there's a couple of guys that have successfully done it locally.
Yes, the first, So
now there's someone to like leverage and like
and look and not represent. I mean replicate. Yeah, like you can go in and see like some of the gyms in South Africa, and some of them are beautiful, world class. Yeah, world class facilities. Like, and then walk in
coaching
there.
and athletes. And we've got the access to everything now. You know, it's not always just over there.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone thinks when you go compete and we go overseas. Like you go to London and you go compete in like or you go compete, or you even just go and roll, and you think just because we're poor South Africans and we're like so isolated that we're not any good. Yeah, and then you finish off rolling with these guys, and you're like, actually, South African jiu-jitsu is not that bad, and we're not that. Our games are good.
No, I
we're
agree
tough,
with you,
we're strong, we're resilient, and you go anyway. Australia, I've traveled a lot and I've trained a lot overseas, and I never leave any gym going, these guys are worlds apart from us.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've never had that situation either, dude. You know, I think like often we think we inferior just because we geographically cut off from the rest of the world, you know, like, but you know, we've gone to gyms and then like you beat the first couple of guys and then the coach calls the oaks.
You
like,
get points.
Then they send those oaks and then you pound those oaks and then they're like, fuck. You know, it's just, you just have to be confident in what you're doing and align yourself with guys that you know are doing the right thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, but look at Angola. Angola is also an anomaly.
Yeah,
I know they've got a good like historical relation with Brazil, but you go to Angola. Those guys are good.
I heard that they've got a couple new Brazilian black belts that have come into the country. Yeah, so like they're like importing these guys at this stage. It's madness.
At this point, some of them are that good they probably don't even need it.
Yeah, there was one of them supposed to come down to fight in the EFC.
Wasn't Walter in the AGP tour the other day?
Yeah, and he medaled.
Yeah, both Walters. Remember, there's
the
Walter
Walter Pan, the big one.
In Brazil, what's his?
Walter Frostino.
Yeah, Frostino. I was in Brazil with them at the same time, And then there's other Volta.
Yeah.
He's always here in Cape Town.
Yeah.
He apparently medaled.
Yeah.
From what I heard, though, he had a tough fight.
But even there, like, so Marcelo's also got a affiliation there. And, like, just their in-house competitions, man, like 250.
250
just
people.
Marcelo. Yeah. So, like, man, when they get through, and I mean, they traveling to us to do the trials, and they get to roll some different people. But a lot of them have won their Angolan leg of trials at that stage and just come to Cape Town,
just to fight.
to fight us, you know. So
I mean, look at that Victor. There was that, I don't know the surnames, but there was a Victor, like skinny, tall guy that came to here and smoked us. And then there was Omar.
Yeah.
Omar smoked us.
Well, you know what it is, right? And I always say this is like that, like Central African area. Like the moment you get out of like Southern Africa, like the genetics change, right? So you add phenomenal genetics with great coaching, and that's like an almost unstoppable situation,
really
right?
is, man.
It's like it's very similar to how you take
my little shitty European genetics can't match that.
Unless you got Omegas like gold.
Mexican Omegas.
The closer we get to like the mid Congo and all them, the harder and more and tough and more resilient.
Yeah, dude.
Similar to Europe, you go up towards like Dagestan and Russia, and like those guys
the
also.
Genetics also different,
are
dude.
hard people, man. I'm not saying that they're better than us. It's just they're hard people.
Yeah.
They're good.
I mean, Pupunga Treso is like a white belt in jiu-jitsu, but if you ever roll him, it is scary to roll him, right? Because he doesn't need a lot to beat you, right? So like you take those type of genetics, and if you could just like add all the skill to it, like the Angolans have done.
But then look at the three African, the UFC champs now. We've got Ngannou, we've got
African power.
Yeah, the
Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, it's got a lot to do with it's obviously skill and dedication, time. But genetics does certainly help. There's certainly
you can't tell me that Francis is better than Stipe technically, right? He's good at what he does. Don't get me wrong, and he's got the athleticism and genetics to back it.
100%. You know, a scary individual.
Yeah. And there's lots of them in Africa. There's lots of scary individuals. So, yeah, guys, I think we're gonna call it there. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. I'm very excited to see your stuff available for everyone and. Your website, Scarab BJJ
Scarab BJJ. I think I've registered the domain a couple of weeks ago because it was Scarab BJJ, and I think it's now Scarab Kimono.
Check Insta.
You'll send it to us,
Facebook.
And we'll share it.
Yeah, it just needs to be. Once we start launching, we start doing a little bit more marketing. Right now, we're just trying to find our ambassadors. Carry on in voting for your ambassadors, guys. It's not gonna. We've got a week left.
When are you guys announcing the winner there?
Mid-month. So I'm not going to give an exact date until we get closer to the time. I want to see a little bit more traction, and then. But some of the guys are already leaps and bounds ahead.
I mean, like Peyton's got half the votes, right?
I think people should.
This is even, and this is even before we've updated it. Now we've got. We had one of the girls. I'm not 100% sure who she is. I think it was Sasha Robinson.
Oh yeah, I know
she got Craig Jones to repost and endorse. I was like, oh my god, Craig Jones is saying something about Scarab, and then also like Jordan.
She's from Apex.
Is it?
Yeah.
Seems like from what I see, like a lovely person. So also like Jordan has. We had Chad Leclos putting it on there. So like. They've got some clout behind their names, and also their jiu-jitsu and their game behind them.
So JP and Luke and Bram van Dijk. I don't know Bram.
Bram, yeah. He's bought a few times from me in the past. He supports the brand regardless of his ambassador. He said to me, regardless if I'm an ambassador, I'll support you anyway. So I mean, like an awesome person from what I know. But I think this is quite outdated compared to the last surge. The last surge, Luke got loads.
JP also very popular.
JP got loads. I mean, they're all such cool people and they're all such good jiu-jitsu. So like,
you should do like just whittle down to the two most, and they must fight for it for the
Yeah, but JP versus Luke super fight.
That'd be epic.
That'd be good.
It keeps coming up on the show that they should have the super fight.
And then like Jordan Leclos could get stuck in there because his game is amazing. All of them, man. Like you'd be proud to have any of these people on there as your ambassador, and especially as the ladies as well. I mean, all of them.
Exceptional grapplers.
Peyton. I mean, I did some privates with Peyton when I was in Cape Town. Her teaching, she's exceptional. Their system of, what they're teaching at the moment has just been like so cool.
Did you watch your MMA fight the other day?
I didn't.
I did. I watched some of that.
Yeah, it's good. Like, The jiu-jitsu is good. She's trying to like figure it out at the moment, but
She
like,
went
it's really
to them
good.
and said to them, "I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm here to do jiu-jitsu."
But what's the best way of learning, right? She's going into like this cool system where you can fight multiple times.
That's
So
what
you
being an amateur is about.
can fight like
She's-
10, 20 times a year if you really wanted
She
to.
got clapped a couple of times and had a bit of a sore
So
neck.
they-
She had a sore neck afterwards. She was complaining when we were doing the private, but she said it was great for her. So
Yeah. Awesome, guys.
yeah, thank you so much for
Thank
having
you
us.
so much, guys.
Thanks,
Cool,
guys.
man.
That's it
Thanks,
from
guys.
us.
So.
Cheers, Ali G.